Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the teas of my Blu-ray collection. It's quite a lot to get through, so I'm just going to get cracked on with it. Having realised now that they are the wrong way up, so I'm going to have to quickly flip them over. Apologies for this. Right. There we go. So I will get started. So first up we have Tag. I really like this film. I think it's a very underrated comedy of recent years. It is literally about a group of friends who have been playing tag since they were kids and continue to play tag, as one of them is about to get married, and the one that is about to get married, played by Jeremy Renner, has never been tagged. So their goal as friends is to tag him before he gets married, and hilarity ensues. It is a 15, so it goes full blast, and it's just a very, very funny film. I really enjoy it. So that is Tag. Next up we have Taken. Probably the first of Liam Neeson's big action films. I don't think he really did any of these types of like revenge types of films like he does a lot now. This kind of redefined his career, I suppose, and it is, for me anyway, one of the best action films of the last 20 years. It's just very good. It's a very short film as well, but it is action packed. It has got a great story. Liam Neeson is fantastic in it. And I'll be honest, it's a shame they made the sequels, because this is a great film on its own. The sequels aren't very good. I don't have them in the collection because I don't think much of them, but this is a fantastic action film that I definitely recommend you checking out. Next up we have Taking Lives, starring Angelina Jolie, Ethan Hawke, Kiefer Sutherland, who else is in this? Gina Rowland. Yeah, it's an early 2000s Warner Brothers thriller, so you kind of know the sort of thing you're going to get. It does feel quite dated now, but I enjoy it. It's a serial killer film. Angelina Jolie plays an FBI profiler trying to track down this serial killer. It's got a nice twist to it. I did enjoy the twist. I appreciated it. It's still in the collection because it is a very good film. I won't go as far to say it's a very good film. It's a good film. I'd probably give it 3 stars. It's a very average film, I would say, but one that if you've not seen before, definitely check out, because it's very gripping. It's like what I would define as a cat and mouse thriller, because she is really on the hunt for this serial killer. But yeah, that is Taking Lives. Then we have The Taking of Pelham 123, starring Denzel Washington and John Travolta. One of the first Blu-rays I actually got in the collection, and it's a great film, directed by Tony Scott. It's a remake of a film from the 70s, I believe. Denzel Washington basically plays a New York City subway dispatcher, and John Travolta is a criminal who basically hijacks a train with all of the passengers, and Denzel Washington's got to try and save them all. It's very gripping. I think John Travolta is a fantastic villain in this. And yeah, if you like these sorts of thrillers, this came out in 2009. Then yeah, I think you're really, especially if you like both of these actors, because they are very good in this film, go bouncing off of each other. So yeah, that's The Taking of Pelham 123. Next up, we have Tango and Cash, starring Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. It's also got Jack Palance in, I forgot about that. It's just a buddy cop film, really. It's not a particularly special film. I'll be honest, I can't remember anything about it other than it actually being a buddy cop film. So I can't really talk to what it's about or my feelings on it. I remember it being okay though, because if it wasn't okay, it probably wouldn't still be in the collection. One, I think I'm going to have to watch again, because maybe one that leaves the collection, don't know. Next up we have There's Something About Mary, just a fantastic comedy. These are the types of comedies that we don't get anymore, and I love. You've got this. You've got one that I only watched for the first time yesterday, The Girl Next Door, which I absolutely love. American Pie, Old School, just great films that they just wouldn't make nowadays. But yeah, there's something about Mary. You've got Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz, um, Lee Evans, British comedian, absolutely hilarious in this. Um, Matt Dillon's in this, yeah, Matt Dillon as well. I was going to say, I'm sure Matt Dillon's in this. He's on the front though. Yeah, great film. There's something about Mary. Next up, we have The Theory of Everything, which is the true story of Stephen Hawking, who was a scientist who just did something about quantum physics, I think. Doesn't actually say on the back. But he has motor neuron disease. This is back in the, I want to say, 60s or 70s, whilst he's still a student at university, and he meets his future wife. 21 he was when he was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. It's just a very good film, very interesting film. If you like your British films, if you like your true stories, one I highly recommend you to check out. And next up, we have one of my favourite films of all time, in my top 50 films of all time, and that is Terms of Endearment. Just a fantastic film, nominated for an astounding 11 Oscars, and it won Best Picture. It also won, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Writing. So basically most of the main ones. If there was a lead actor in this, it probably would have won Best Lead Actor, but there isn't. Jack Nicholson is the supporting actor who won the Oscar for this, and he is absolutely incredible in this. Shirley MacLaine is just astounding in this. It's just a fantastic 80s film, and one I definitely recommend checking out if you're a fan of like your older films. It's a mother-daughter relationship film. It's very heartwarming, and for lack of a better word, endearing. So yeah, that is Terms of Endearment. Next up, we have another similar one along the lines of Tango and Cash that came out around the same time. Tequila Sunrise. This one also stars Kurt Russell, but it also has Mel Gibson and Michelle Pfeiffer in it. Again, I've seen it, but I can't remember anything about it. Yeah, I can't remember anything about it. I'm just reading the back now. It's a thriller. I remember that. Yeah, I can't say much about this one. One I'm going to have to watch again. Next up, we have Ted. Love this film. Wasn't huge on the second one, but I really enjoyed the series that just came out. Yep, so it's just one that I have to have in the collection. Next up, we have Their Finest, one that I picked up fairly recently. One that I saw when it originally came out. I watched it again recently. Another great British film. Basically set during the war, when the Ministry of Film were tasked with making a film to boost the morale of not only the British soldiers but also the British people. And Gemma Arterton plays the screenwriter for the film in question, along with Sam Claflin. And Bill Nighy plays the lead one of the lead actors in the film. It's a story about two sisters travelling on a boat to Dunkirk. Just a very good film, very heartwarming again. If you like these types of films, definitely recommend checking it out. Next up, another one of my favourite films of all time, Titanic, one that I must upgrade to 4K at some point this year. I've talked about this in depth quite a lot. It's just, to me, a pretty perfect film. It is, I want to say it's my second favourite film. I don't like ranking my favourite films, because they change all about. I would say it's top 10, solidified top 10, but I don't think I could give it a number because I love so many films. But yeah, everybody knows about Titanic anyway. Everybody's seen or heard of it at least. And then we have Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy with Gary Oldman. Really enjoyed this film. Very great British thriller. Really reminds me of Slow Horses. Sorry, I forgot Gary Barlow as well. That sort of thing is MI5. They're trying to find a mole within MI5. Gary Oldman's the one that is basically selected to. He's retired and he's brought back in to lure out the mole, basically find out who he is. It's a very good film. Got a fantastic cast. You've got Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tom Hardy, Mark Strong, Kieran Hines, John Hurt, Toby Jones, just Stephen Graham, Kathy Burke, just excellent British cast. And it's a very good film. So if you like your thrillers, definitely check this one out. Next up, we have The Time Traveller's Wife, starring Rachel McAdams and Eric Bana, based on a novel, I think. They did also adapt this into a television series that wasn't very good. But this is it's a good film. It's nothing special. It's basically about a woman whose husband travels in time, and it all revolves around her. He travels back to when she's a little girl, meets her first when she's a little girl, and he kind of he has no control over it. He just disappears and travels through time every now and then, through her life. And yeah, it was a good film. Next up, we have The Time of Their Lives. I was going to say Our Lives, but no, it's Their Lives, with Joan Collins and Pauline Collins. You've also got Franco Nero in this as well. Jodie Richardson, Ronald Pickup. Yeah, another good British comedy. Nothing special. 3-star film, I would say. Yeah, I really like these two, and I think they bounce off of each other very well. So yeah, that is The Time of Their Lives. Next up, we have Timeline, which is a Richard Donner film. Really good one. This is really underrated. I had to import this one from America. You got Paul Walker, who's the lead character, who's basically an archaeologist, and his professor goes missing. His professor, played by the great Billy Connolly, and he goes with his friend there, Gerald Butler, who's very much a supporting role in this. He goes back to 14th century France, I think, if I remember rightly, to try and get his mentor in Billy Connolly back into the present. Great film. Yeah, not much more I can say about it. Really enjoyed it. So that is Timeline. Next up, we have Ticket to Paradise with George Clooney and Julia Roberts. I love these two. When they do a film together, I'm going to watch it. Just a very pleasant film. That's the best word to describe it, really. It's just a very pleasant film. And one that I definitely recommend checking out if you haven't seen it. Especially if you like romantic comedies. Next up, we have This Is 40, directed by, maybe written as well. Yeah, written and directed by Judd Apatow. I love most of Judd Apatow's films. Whether you're talking about The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Funny People, This Is 40, I think those four are some of the best comedies in the last 20 years. They're definitely up there. This one I really like. This one's very underrated. I think after this, he definitely went downhill. Trainwreck, which is in here somewhere, I think. It was okay. Nothing to shout home about, but it was okay. King of Staten Island, again, it was alright. And I don't know what he did with The Bubble. That was absolutely terrible. What was he thinking there? And he's not done anything since. So, but yeah, This Is 40. Then you've got This Is Where I Leave You, which is a Sean Levy film. Love Sean Levy, think he's a great director. And it's got a great cast. You've got Jason Bateman, you've got Tina Fey, Corey Stoll, Adam Driver, Jane Fonda, Rose Byrne, Connie Britton. I'm just trying to think without looking. Catherine Hahn's in it as well. Yeah, Timothy Olyphant, Dax Shepard. Those are the only two I missed off. That was quite good. But it's a family drama. Their father passes away and they all have to come home for the funeral, and they're a very dysfunctional family and they've all just got to get on. It's funny, heartwarming as well. Very good watch. Then we have Those Who Wish Me Dead. Another one. I think this is better than Taking Lives. I really do think this is quite good, and I think one of the reasons I like this more is because it's directed by Taylor Sheridan, who obviously had created Yellowstone, Tulsa King, Mayor of Kingstown. He did Bass Reeves recently, Special Ops. He's got a new one coming out this year with Billy Bob Thornton called Landman. Just an all great creative force, I suppose you should say. And this was a good film about like a smoke jumper who basically has to try and save this boy from two hitmen. I won't say anymore, but good film. Then we have Three Kings, very underrated film, another one that I included in my list of underrated films, so I will not go into much detail about this. You've got George Clooney, you've got Mark Wahlberg, and you've got Ice Cube, who are basically US specialists in the army. And to put it simple, they go looking for gold in the Iraqi desert during the Gulf War. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. If you like those types of films, it's got a bit of comedy to it as well, drama as well. Definitely give that a go if you like those actors specifically. Then we have talking about the life or the early life of J.R.R. Tolkien, who created The Lord of the Rings. This doesn't go through all his life. This goes from when he was a child up to when he starts writing Lord of the Rings and he meets I don't know if they actually get together, but Lily Collins, who's in this as well. But yeah, if you're interested in these biopics and you like The Lord of the Rings, then this is one I definitely recommend checking out. Next up, we have Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. I quite enjoyed this one. I went to see this at the cinema. One that I definitely need to revisit because I haven't seen it since then. I think she took to the part pretty well. It is a shame that they cancelled the sequel because I would have been interested. It would have been interesting to see where they went with it. But yeah, a fun action adventure film. That is Tomb Raider. Next up, we have Top Gun. Yeah, this is what many would consider a classic. I just thought it was okay. Personally, a bit overrated for me. Much prefer the sequel. One of the best cinema experiences I've had in recent years. Saw it 3 times at the cinema, and I don't think I've seen it since I've had it on 4K though. But yeah, I'll watch this one again. It's not a bad film. I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's got. It's a bit dated, I should say. Yeah, for me personally. Next up, another film with Val Kilmer in it. Top Secret, another one that was on my underrated films list. A spoof movie directed by the Zucker brothers, who also did the Naked Gun films and the Airplane films. This is like a spoof on the spy films, with Val Kilmer as the lead character. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I do remember it being very funny. Next up, we have a classic, The Towering Inferno, just a classic film. If you've not seen this and you like your disaster films, this is definitely one of the better ones, and it's got a terrific cast. I'll just read the ones that are on the back off to you. You've got Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, Susan Blakely, Richard Chamberlain, Jennifer Jones, a name that I should skip over really, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, Robert Wagner. So, for the most part, it's got great actors in it. But yeah, one that I really love. Just really great disaster film. Just set in like a big tower, I suppose. But yeah, if you like these sorts of films, definitely worth giving a go. Next up, we have Training Day. The film that won Denzel. I think he won an Oscar before this as well. But this definitely won him an Oscar as well. Great character he plays in this. It's basically he plays like the training officer to Ethan Hawke's character, who's just become a detective, a narcotics detective. But Denzel Washington likes to do things his own way. He's very dirty, and Ethan Hawke's very uncomfortable with it. And it's just got some great scenes in this, some great dialogue. The end scene with Denzel, with his famous line, I'm not going to say it because it's got a curse word in it. But yeah, Training Day, great film. One again, I need to get on 4K. Next up, one of my favourite zombie films of recent years, Train to Busan. Not seen the sequel yet. I believe this is coming out on 4K next week, but it's one... Oh, sorry, it's slipping. One that I'm going to wait until it goes down in price, because I'm very happy with the Blu-ray at the moment because I've not had it for that long. It's basically a zombie virus outbreak occurs in Korea, and it's about a father and daughter who are on a train going back to basically he's taken her back to her mum because they're separated. And whilst on this train, the zombie outbreak erupts and they're stuck on the train, and they've basically got to escape the zombies. Just a great film. If you've not seen it, check it out. If you like your zombie films, if you put off because it's in subtitles, what can I say? It's worth watching. It is a great film. Then we have, I'll show these together. We've got Trainspotting and T2 Trainspotting, so Trainspotting 2. Love the first one. It's a classic, cult classic. People my mum's age, my mum and dad's age, loved this film when it came out. And then this one came out like 20 years later. For me, love this film. Love it even more than this one. Like it just more than this one. This one builds on this one, and it's just got a really strong story. It's a really worthy sequel. If you were to say what films have better sequels, this is one that I would definitely put up there because I loved it. I love both of these films. So, next up, talking about Trainwreck. Yeah, as I say, it's okay. Not one of Judd Apatow's best. Not a big fan of Amy Schumer. You've got some good comedy bits in here. I like everything with between Bill Hader and LeBron James in this. I think they're just very funny together. But yeah, that's all I can really say. Trainwreck. John Cena's got a very funny bit in it as well. Then we have the Transformers films. I'm not going to go into much detail on this. These are just fun, cheesy, blockbuster films that you just switch your brain off and just put on in the background. First one I love. Second one's not great. Third one's good. Fourth one's okay. Like it more than most. And fifth one, again, it's okay. I still probably like it a little bit more than most. So yeah, probably won't upgrade those. Those are okay on Blu-ray for me. Next up, we have 999. This is like a cop thriller about a group of dirty cops that work for the Russian mob, and they've got to try and pull off a heist. You've got great cast in this. You've got Chiwetel Ejiofor, Woody Harrelson, Kate Winslet, Gal Gadot, who's not a great actress, I must admit, but she's okay in this. Aaron Paul, Anthony Mackie, Casey Affleck, Clifton Collins Jr., Norman Reedus, Michael K. Williams, Teresa Palmer. Just a really great cast of not big actors but good actors in their own right, and one that I really remember enjoying. Excuse me. Next up, we have True Grit with Jeff Bridges and Josh Brolin and Matt Damon and Haley Steinfeld. A remake, obviously, of the John Wayne classic from the 60s, which I haven't actually seen. I do believe I own that somewhere. Yeah, love this. Jeff Bridges is great in this. He really takes to the part well. It's a Coen Brothers film. I don't think they've done many bad films. If you like your westerns, definitely one that I recommend checking out. Another one of my favourite films coming up next, The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. Definitely his best film for me. Love this film, just very quirky, has something to say, and I think Jim Carrey is very good in this. I'm going to speed up through the rest because I've been going on a while. There's not too many more left. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, hilarious film, stupid film, mix of horror, mix of comedy. You got mix of lots of your old films like your Evil Dead, that sort of film about mistaken identity, hilarity ensues. Really enjoy this. Great film. Turner Hooch, classic, Tom Hanks. What more do you need to say? Next up, I suppose you'd call these guilty pleasures, but I don't even know if they're that. I've not seen them in years. They are ones that, again, that I got when I first started my Blu-ray collection. I've not got rid of them because I want to give them another go. See how they've aged, how I find them now I'm older. But it's the Twilight films. I've got all of them. First Dawn, New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and Part 2. I did put these in a pile to sell at one point because I thought, oh, I'll get the set, break it down a bit. But I think I looked at the set and they were all in individual cases anyway, so I thought, what's the point? But yeah, they're, as I say, they're just guilty pleasure type films, not very good films, but yeah. 3 left. We have Twins, great Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito film. They have great chemistry together. Would really like to see them do another film together. Just a classic film. If you like classic comedies, definitely check this out. Check Junior out as well, which I'll talk about when I get to the J's as well. Next up, another guilty pleasure, great film. We got the reboot, I suppose it's not sequel, reboot coming out in July. Twister, watched this again recently. Love this film. Just a classic disaster film. If you like your disaster films, this one's definitely up there. Definitely check this one out. And finally, we have Two If by Sea, starring Sandra Bullock and Dennis Leary. Mainly only got this because of Sandra Bullock, because I really love Sandra Bullock. She's one of my favourite actresses. It's an okay film. Nothing special with this one. Very average. One that the reason it is still in my collection, I want to give it another go down the road. It's not been that long since I've seen it. It was just a very average film. Again, one that I imported. This is a Mill Creek release. I've got quite a lot of Mill Creek releases now. But yeah, that is 2F by C. That is everything in my teas. Sorry it went on for so long. There was a lot here and I do tend to talk a lot. So I appreciate it if you haven't made it to this part of the video, because it's very long now. But yeah, that is it. So if you like the video, make sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel. Comment down below anything and everything. Do you own any of these? What are your thoughts on them? Are there any that you can see are missing from my collection? Let me know down below and I get back to anyone that takes the time to leave me a comment. And that is it. So until next time everyone, take care. Goodbye.